So today we're going to be reviewing the Brahma Owden. Now, I've had this boot for about a little over a year, and I know you guys who've been following the channel for a while know that I've reviewed the Interceptor Force boots a little while back. These boots were a gift from my grandma, and they worked pretty well as a switch boot, like to switch out when your other boots need airing out. And they also work well as, like, if something on my other footwear breaks and I can't replace it right away, these are a good replacement, because I really don't do any heavy duty stuff as far as, you know, working. I don't currently have a job. I'm still in school. I do hike a lot. I'm very active. And I noticed the boot guy had a review of these boots on his channel, and I gotta say, he kind of hated them. He criticized these harshly, and I can understand why. He hated them almost as much as I hate tennis shoes, and I say almost because I'll admit that as much as I hate tennis shoes, there are very good things about them that boots just can't compete with. So the boot guy he reviews fashion boots as well, but mostly hiking and working boots. I will say these are definitely not working boots. These, although they have the appearance of working boots, and Brahma normally makes working boots, whether this qualifies as a hiking boot, I'm not sure. It's definitely fashion, because suede leather. And another thing the boot guy was talking about, which actually enlightened me, because for a very long time I knew something was off about this sole, but I didn't know what. So this is not actual rubber. It's the same material they make with flip-flops. So yeah, not a boot for a construction worker, although I don't know why a construction worker would see this as an option. I mean, it's not even steel-toed, but like, that's not necessarily doesn't necessarily make it a bad boot. Now, and definitely because this is flip-flop material, I mean, it's thick, but it's flip-flop material. If you wear this to a construction site or anywhere where there's going to be nails or metal shrapnel, this is going to get punctured. Now, as far as the durability of this sole, like I said, I've had these for a little over a year, and the treads are still very intact. Not insanely impressive. I'm very hard on boots, so these held up well, and my Interceptors, for comparison, are starting to get a little worn down themselves, and I always have wear and tear right in there in the heel of any of my footwear, because pressure's on that side of my heel always for some reason. And something I've noticed also is, and the reason I have both right boots as comparison is because, well, my right leg is my dominant leg, and I recently discovered that somehow I use it more, which is why I usually notice wear and tear on my right shoes or boots more. Now, the reason I brought this to compare is to compare the durability of the soles, because that's something that is an issue to consider when buying this boot. Is while it's not great as a work boot, it can be used as a hiking boot. The boot guy was also concerned with the fact that a thorn could puncture this. I'm a little skeptical on that, because these are pretty thick, and I did something earlier. I took a toothpick and experimented. This is about the size of an average thorn from a thorn bush or a thorn tree. Unless you're hiking in a woods that has no trail carved in it, I can't imagine any scenario why a thorn would be anywhere near your feet. But I mean, there's probably definitely some. I just can't think of any at the top of my head. So I mean, something metal like a nail is definitely going to puncture this, but something wood like a thorn, that's... See, I tapped this all day, and yeah, there's marks right in here. I don't know if you can see it where I tapped the sole. There's definitely marks. It leaves a mark on the sole, but it doesn't actually puncture it. So these are pretty durable, pretty trustworthy to hike in. I wouldn't hike in them in damp conditions just because of the suede leather. It kind of darkens and ruins it. And when compared to the Interceptors with an actual rubber sole. And these are my everyday footwear, and I hike, go to school, and in the winter go to church in these. And no, not even a mark. So like, if you're actually walking and step on them with weight, see, it's gonna break. It's gonna break the thorn. That's not gonna. I'm trying to do this without hurting my own hand. See, it's not gonna. I don't see. I just can't picture a thorn puncturing this. And I'm gonna check on my phone just one quick second. Okay. So while these are definitely not a work boot, I can see them. Personally I can see them working as a hiking boot, or a hiking boot in non-damp weather, and as a fashion boot because of the suede leather. And so another thing that he pointed out, this is not a speed lace system. He called it that. I don't see it as a speed lace system. A speed lace system implies that you can just pull it and it immediately tightens. That's not the case with this boot, and I'll give this boot credit. It's got some very durable laces. This is actually the first boot that I've worn and managed to maintain the original laces, so these actually impress me. And I'll say another, and these are just something to hook the laces around and help with tying and making less lace to wrap around, because having thick kind of hard nylon laces wrapped around your ankle for 12 hours, it's not an awesome feeling, and it only gets tighter and tighter as the day goes. Whereas with these tactical boots I normally wear, yeah, you do wrapping is part of the tying, but the thing is, that's what these were made for. And with these, you don't do bunny ears or any extra knots. You just do one knot, you wrap, knot, and tuck. That's all there is to it. And if you want to know more about tying combat boots, I have a video about that. I'll put a link in the description. But these, you tie like any other civilian work boot. You just that reduces the wrapping and makes it a little more comfortable for your foot, because if you wrapped all this lace around and then tied bunny ears, it would, after 12 hours, it would not be an awesome feeling. And because that's the way my first pair of Brahmas were, and I gotta say I liked those a lot too. But that was the one criticism I had about those. They were, after so many hours, their laces were not an awesome feeling wrapped around my ankle. Anyway, overall, I give the Brahma Owden a 7 out of 10. They're definitely not all-purpose. Definitely not my first preference, but I'm grateful to have these as a gift, and thank you to my grandma for getting them. But my preference will always be with Interceptor brand. And something cool I noticed about the soles of these things is, check it out, they got a cross. I think that's pretty cool. Probably not intentional, but I like it, and I try to involve God in all my videos if I can find a way to do so. There's always a way, but being a human, I can't always find a way. But I pray that God helps me work on that, and that's certainly a way that God worked his way into this video. I mean, he can speak to us in just about any way possible. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and if you plan on getting a pair of these, I recommend them. They're good for fashion and good for hiking, again, in non-damp weather. Definitely don't try to do any heavy-duty work in these. I wouldn't recommend that. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless you all.